Welcome back, our dear viewers, to another time. Omni-Heights, you're here to represent and present value, and we're all about value addition in the construction industry, whether you're a developer, a real estate investor, a contractor. This is something that you need to check out and consider sharing with people who you know would benefit from this pieces of content that we put out there. Thank you so much for the audience that has been with us throughout the journey so far. Thank you for the subscribers. Thank you for the views. We really appreciate. We don't take it for granted. Today we have a very special episode because today we are going to talk about something that has really affected the real estate market and the construction industry in our region, whereby we dominate, that is in Kenya. And our main topic for today is why there is fluctuation of prices in the increment way, or rather uptrend. Why are prices in the construction industry, that is the prices of materials in construction industry, why are they on an uptrend? So we're going to get into that, and we hope that you're going to benefit from the things that we're going to share. Yeah, so let's dive straight into it.
Your name?
My name is Victor. Forgot to say my name, Victor. I've been with you guys, and
this is Simon.
Simon. Yeah. Karibuni sana. Yeah, so Simon, have you noticed that prices of construction materials have skyrocketed?
Not just yesterday, but since January. Well, technically since last year.
Last year,
January. They keep on increasing day in, day out, fluctuating more or less rather than rising or lowering. They are in between there.
Unstable prices.
Unstable, yeah.
I've noticed that the prices of something like paint has really gone up. Whether you are doing steaming or painting, silk, silicone, whether the company is Crown, Jordan, maybe Duracoat,
maybe brought up by the fact that there are so many brands now.
One element is the diversity of brands.
Yeah.
Of product brands has made prices to go up.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing in its own way?
I think the diversification of brands is a good thing.
It's a good thing.
That means that business owners are coming up and they are willing to compete with
each other.
The people who have been here for decades, people like Crown.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing on the business side.
And in
also
terms of quality?
Quality also, now if there's a diversity in materials or in brands, companies are going to be checking up on what is our competitor doing.
Yeah, are they increasing their base maybe? What's their base price? Yeah.
What are clients saying about our competitor, and what are they saying about us? Are they preferring
customer feedback?
Yeah.
If ours is low this time round, how can we improve the next time round? Yeah. So I think they check their customer feedback and all
that. So to some extent, it keeps the business owners on toes.
Yeah.
Especially the sales representatives, they know what product is going and why this is not going, why this is going more than this, to some extent.
The irony of that, so many brands coming up, shouldn't that lower the prices? Because if I can get this product at this price and I've got 10 more varieties to choose from, shouldn't they come down? Or they should, or they come up with a way to standardize them within themselves, or maybe within the company, they say. Or how do you think they normally do it?
I think two reasons. I think they should, first of all, they should. The prices should come down. Number one reason why they're not lowering, the prices are not going down, I think it's because of other factors, of which you're going to discuss. The other thing, I think it's because of, what is this point? This point should come. The point of, I think the point will come as we proceed.
Yeah.
But among the factors we're going to discuss, about them. And also, I've remembered, the point is, there are companies that already set, this is my opinion, there are companies that already set the standard years back.
Yeah, they may have a say in terms of pricing maybe.
Yeah, like they have a very huge stake. So the opinion have gravitas, because if It's a company like, for example, Crown.
Yeah.
And they've been painting the whole of Nairobi, Kiambu, very many areas.
Yeah.
Other competitors who are going to come in the market, I think they're going to use them as a source of reference.
Yeah.
What are their
Exactly.
prices?
Yeah. Yeah.
So do we want to penetrate the market? If we set too low, people are going to be suspicious, probably. If we set too high, of course people will go to the brand that has been there for years.
Yeah.
That's also another thing I think affects why the prices are not coming down yet. They should. Yeah. So we talked about
Brand
diversity.
Yeah.
Number 2, the second point.
I think we can say maybe clientele muscle.
Clientele muscle.
Yeah.
Expound a bit.
Maybe in terms of a school maybe constructing something, they need certain amount of cement, for instance. Can't compare with someone just building a mansion. So if this client can manage to get directly from the factory, and in another factor also that can affect also economies of scale, this person getting the same cement, since it's more, they get at a lower price compared to that other person building just a mansionette at a certain price. Also, big clients tend to maybe buy things in credit, in terms of credit maybe, and that like raises or lowers, because if a client is getting things on credit, automatically to cover the cost of the time you're going to offset your payment, they have to increase the price of that item. So if you are an individual coming into a hardware that is dealing with clients of such caliber, of course they'll try maybe to maybe lower by a certain price, but they won't again go too low, because they want maybe their hardware to be identified in a certain way because of the clients that are purchasing from them. So maybe client muscle can affect the prices.
Yeah, for example, if let's say very big developers are occupying, or rather they have dominated a certain area, let's say for example Nairobi West, we're expecting prices of materials in Nairobi West to either be different from prices of materials in, let's say for example, Nairobi North, where construction is less. Because as you've said, we've noticed that the clients who have muscle, muscle in quotes, people who have like really
financial
muscle, high purchasing power.
Yeah, exactly.
They tend to set the prices of things generally. If these hardware owners, they notice that a big clientele is buying, let's say, Simba cement, they expect prices of Simba cement to go up also in a way of in this way also, because these guys they tend to buy these materials in bulk.
Yeah, in large
quantities. So if they buy in large quantities, they're going to be sold for at a cheaper price compared to me. For example, if I go to ask maybe for 100 bags only, or 50 bags, or 10 bags. So that now that depends from customer to customer.
Yeah,
that doesn't affect like everyone generally, but it's also a good point. A good point. Yeah, so it said financial client muscle and brand diversity. The third point I would add, supply and demand.
Yeah, that
supply and
affects
demand
big time.
Supply and demand affects big time in this way. The higher the demand of a product, the higher the prices of that product would go. For example, if there is a high number of people who are buying, let's say, Duracoat Silk White, the price of that bucket of paint, or that tin of paint, would go higher, because people really want it. So to meet that demand and to standardize that demand, the prices would go automatically go high. Yeah, supply and demand. Also, if the supply is high, supply is in bulk, demand sometimes becomes low, and in that regard, prices do lower, so that they attract more customers.
But that's also ironical, because if something is in demand, then automatically the company supplying that item should come in and check what's the kind of profit margin we can get by raising these items amount, or producing it in bulk, so that the supply correlates with the demand. instead of having it raised so that a smaller percentage of people would get it, which would make more sense? Increasing production or raising the price of that item?
Increasing production. I think the prices are higher because they go back to also the manufacturer.
Yeah, so that also is a factor that affects the price of material. Another point also.
Because if products are in demand, then the salesman has high pressure to get these items.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the manufacturer. Yeah. Manufacturer now would need to put more equipment to scale up the business.
Yeah, exactly.
Hence prices automatically shoot.
Yeah. And that factor is
but
now being affected by the kind of technology that is at play here. Yeah. That's also another factor that maybe affects material prices.
Type of technology.
Yeah.
And this is also another funny point. You know, when technology is increasing, yeah, the advancement of technology is increasing, but there has to be a but. Yeah. But prices are also high. Yeah. You would think that now because we have technology, manufacturing things takes less time.
Yeah.
So prices would lower, but that's not the reality. Yeah. Prices are actually in their all-time high. Very interesting.
Another factor may be in that regard, in terms of manufacturing, affected by the kind of energy available in the country.
Availability of energy in the country.
Yeah. Because if those certain plants, let's say for Basco Paints or Duracod, they need to set up a very large plant area that requires a lot of power to run those machines, to cool those machines. That's now attributed to the kind of infrastructure available. Because if a certain area has not received electricity, for instance, or a road network nearby, then what do we call those things used for manufacturing those small items? The things that make up production. Yeah, those apparatus. If they can't get to site on site, if they can't get to the plant on time, then that again becomes a factor. So the kind of energy, I'd say, put in place now by the government. Now we come into another factor of political
stability, government influence.
Yeah.
Also another key point. For example, this is a very good example. Right now, we're in 2026, the month of, is it May?
It's May.
2026, the month of May. Prices of fuel in the world, almost the entire world, they are at their all-time high. Fuel has never been highly priced like it is right now. Now, a country like Kenya we rely heavily on imports. Very heavily on imports. Whether it's ceramic, paint, we've done some good work on paint. I see people are manufacturing paint locally. But there are also paints that get imported. We don't manufacture 100% of paint. We import ceramics, we import fabric, carpets, curtains, some gypsum boards,
and wood. You'd think we are importing them from countries like Turkey or China. But you'd be surprised to find we're importing such items like ceramics from Tanzania. So that's become ironical because if we are up, we are a bigger economy than Tanzania, then why are we importing also that? So that's also maybe another something that affects our materials.
We have a very high potential for manufacturing our own products whereby we wouldn't need to rely on imports heavily like we rely on them. Now because now fuel prices are high and we import like a whole ship of ceramic toilets from, let's say, like China mainly, like we import like 10 containers. Those ceramic apparatus from China, they're not expensive, but because we use energy now to transport them through logistics from China to Mombasa
Nairobi
to Nairobi to the consumer. Prices go, like, they really fluctuate and they go to their all-time high, like we've been saying. So government that is affected by government stability
and legislative laws that are put in place by the ruling government.
And it affects microeconomics and also macroeconomics. Right now we are being affected mainly because of macroeconomics, fuel of the world, not only
global energy supply.
Also there is a very high demand of technology and AI in Kenya. So I think this technological advancement would require a lot of
intake maybe.
yeah, a lot of input, a lot of machines, a lot of structures to hold these machines. So you find that prices of materials will still go high because the demand is high, demand of energy is high, demand of materials is high. Real estate investors want to invest, they want passive income, people want to build homes, people want to build schools, hospitals, especially in a region like Kenya. Prices of materials, I think they would go high unless we do our own refinery. The president is putting our own refinery in Mombasa. Let's see how things will play out. But prices of things would go high.
I'd ask you a question before we wind up, Peter. What would you say in between all those points? Because we can never exhaust them. Because we are a developing country and we are in this construction, we are here to stay. Is there a factor that can streamline all of them, that could trickle down in streamlining all those factors? Would you think of any? Like, if one area is sorted out, could it trickle down in resolving and streamlining all these other factors that are maybe raising the materials prices?
I think the main, or rather like the mother factor that would affect where our future of prices in materials go, I think that lies on coordination between the government and the citizens in this way. For example, if you Google Kenya, the kind of debt that we have from IMF and World Bank, I think we're in top 5 African countries. And African countries are the highest, like we are the countries that have the highest loans in the world. Kenya is at, like, I think number 5 or number 3 in Africa alone. If you put it in the world, we're like top 20. Now, if the government would standardize, they would regulate how they take these loans, or rather they would use these loans for things like renovating the current infrastructure instead of adding, let's say, like recreational facilities. If they would use the funds that they get from
Such
these
organizations.
loans, to improve infrastructure like hospitals, schools, we'd find that more people would start businesses, because not only are we like developing like a huge structure. For example, the stadium. I bet the people who did the stadium, the people who were given the tender to do that stadium, I bet they were just big fish. There was no like someone who has been in business for only like 5 months there, telling them let's try and see what you can deliver.
Trickles down now that again goes to meritocracy. But that's something for another day. Maybe we can have a seat on that.
So it would reduce the creation of monopolies, because if there is a hospital being renovated maybe in Moranga, another hospital is being renovated in Baringo, another hospital is being renovated in Mombasa, business owners would really strive to target that, and I think that would standardize the prices of materials generally in the country. So if the government would use these loans better, that's the first point.
So basically, government, legislative laws that are put in place in terms of tax policy, in terms of
taxes,
the people running these big farms controlling supply and logistics in the country. Maybe what other things, like what can we add on political and legislative laws? Basically, if they can at least try to have a standard long term that is not affected by the current ruling regime, maybe that will in future help in standardizing all those things. Maybe let's hope for that.
Probably, perhaps we just hope for a better future. Also on that same point of where the government is, the government's political stability affects almost every business in the country. The point that I'm going to make is, you see, now when the government, let's say, takes a loan and constructs new infrastructure, I'm not saying it is bad, but it is not better per se, like more than renovating the current infrastructure. Because when the government takes a loan, builds new infrastructure, now they're going to be relying on these taxes from this new infrastructure, which has been constructed using the current market uh, materials prices. That money would have been used to renovate other facilities, and now tax would have been gotten from these facilities that were already working. So you also find that the price of constructing this new facility is high.
Yeah.
Everything about it is high. Even the consumer is going to be using this facility is going to be charged higher. The prices are like it's like a big financial bubble. We are creating and jeopardizing ourselves kimakusudi. You know, it's very interesting. We need to look more to research more on that topic of finance and how global markets affect prices of things like construction materials in our country.
I think with materials, anywhere that is involved in construction, I'd rather say it's a whole big chain and a very big web.
It's a big web.
That would require all parties to come together and just look at how to streamline this. Because you can never pick one item. Because if it's let's say for instance, the government to try and put policies that would standardize what we would not know about the cost of energy or the cost of fuel coming into the country. That can just happen abruptly. So that could fluctuate things or raise them instantly without prior notice or something. So it's a matter of just being hopeful, let's say. We can just say that.
Better policies, positioning things better, having systems that work effectively. Everyone would be happy. Business owners would sell more, clients would build more sustainably, and people in the construction industry, contractors will get jobs. Everyone would win. The government will also win, because if the citizens are really investing, then that, of course, without second thought, the government gets a wide variety of taxes to tax on the citizens. Anything else maybe?
No, this is something that we cannot exhaust. So at that point, maybe next time we can add. But for now, that's good. It was a very engaging conversation, actually.
So those are the 3 points that we have for you today. Hope they were helpful. Hope they get to tickle your mind a bit. You can brainstorm about them and learn a few things, and maybe see how they affect you as an individual. Maybe you're just interested in construction, maybe you're a contractor, a developer, a real estate investor. See how these things affect you individually and adjust accordingly. And we hope for the best for everyone who is tuned in.
So next time,
don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and see you on the next video.